Welcome to the Making of Me podcast, where we explore the stories, insights, and strategy that help one grow personally, professionally, while making a meaningful impact. Today's guest is Rich Kozak, CEO of Rich Brand, co-author of Cracking the Rich Code Volume 6, and global branding experts with over 47 years of experience defining, launching, and marketing brand. Rich is passionate about impact-driven brand, helping entrepreneurs, thought speaker, and professionals elevate their life and business while creating lasting positive influence in the world. It's really a pleasure to have you on the show, Rich.
Hey, pleasure to be here. And speaking to your audience, I will tell you, you are going to hear
Mm,
things you have never heard, and they very well could bless your business and your life. So stay tuned.
yeah, thank you so
This is
much.
going to be fun.
Also, Rich, what were some of the moments or challenges that shape you into who you have become today?
Wow. We're going to do like the guy that wrote the 7 Habits. We're going to
Yeah.
begin with the end in mind, okay? So what am I doing today? It might be a surprise. So I'm going to give you one sentence. I spend all day Zoom call, Zoom call, Zoom call with clients, helping to evolve
Mm,
people who have a lot of experience. They've lived a lot of years. They've been to evolve the brand they will become, to evolve how they will become known at the next level with deep clarity, which is missing, longevity, because we want them to do what they love for more decades, and divine purpose. That's what I do. How in the world did I get shaped into doing that? So, key moments, early education. I studied marketing,
yeah.
but that's just a mindset and it sounds very academic. I was an entrepreneur and created businesses of my
Mm,
own at 13, 15, 19. And then I went to college and I ended up working for a
mm,
Fortune 50 company. So I went from self made entrepreneur to corporate, and I wasn't corporate, okay? Like my parents were musicians and teachers. Dad taught math, mom taught music and English. So I was in industry. Okay, I was in factories and calling on purchasing agents. So I learned what the corporate world was in the industrial corporate world, fell in love with how things are made, and fell in love with engineers who love to solve problems. I think that 7 years in that company taught me a lot about the world, the big boy
yeah.
world. This was a Fortune 50 company, 45,000 employees. But I had come from being a solopreneur. And when I got out of that company, I worked for I resigned because I didn't see my future in that company. And I think that was a self defining moment. I can't see what I will become here. I can't see what I want to become in this company. I want that job. I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And if you can't see it, you can't do it. Okay. So that was the big lesson. And people that knew me asked me to work with them in a small consultancy. So we called on market research departments of big companies. I didn't have a background in research, but my job was to manage relationships with the marketing research managers. And so realizing that a lot happens behind the scenes anywhere that a new product or a new service is being created. And when it's done the right way, and these were big companies that were paying a lot of money to have research done
Yeah.
so that they didn't make mistakes. Okay. All right. It's fascinating at how much work is done to get it right. And keep those words in mind because this is not about big companies. This is about you listening to this podcast. And here's a phrase I want you to take to heart. Have you gotten your branding right? Do you know what branding done right really means? Or do you just think branding is airy fairy creative stuff or logos and taglines and, a good campaign? It's like you listening to me and
Yeah.
Arobaniah right now. You were created by the same God I was and Arobaniah was. We're created with unlimited power and gifts, unique gifts. Some of you may love to cook. Some of you may love to solve problems. Some of you may be some of those engineers, or maybe you're a therapist, or maybe you're an expert at something, or you do math, or you
Yeah.
love to ride horses. I don't know. Okay, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. We're all born with gifts and unlimited power. And what we end up doing might be a livelihood, like your work that maybe you went to school and you got a job and that's what you do. But we're all here for a reason. And the sooner you reach into your heart and define the impacts you clearly see making and really want to make on others, the sooner you'll get closer to why you're here. And you can define and language the brand person you will become and race to succeeding at making those impacts, and you'll race
Yeah.
to the money too. It has a lot to do with listening to your heart. 20 years after those things I talked about, for 20 years, I was the executive vice president of what you might call an advertising agency. It had partners in 21 countries, so I sat on global brand teams. This is big boy branding. One of our biggest clients, my biggest client, was a 14 billion company, but we had clients who were $350 million software companies, everything from
Yeah.
semiconductors to paint. Okay, this to business. This is about market share. Branding is about market share and about standing out from competition and about positioning to purchase a competitor. It's about all those big boy things. When I turned 50, I was so addicted to my job.
Yeah.
And this is another defining moment. I looked in the mirror and I told myself I was killing myself being addicted to this job. And I changed my prayer, Lord, I'm going to resign to reshape my life. Show me what you want me to do. I'm ready. So that was a very defining moment, that decision. My good friend Jim Britt has made a livelihood about the power of the decision and the power of letting go. We hold on to things so hard we can't grow. And when you let them go, all of a sudden the universe lines up for you. It's like, boy, that was a coincidence. No,
Yeah.
no, God's hand, okay? You got to call it what it is. But so that was a defining moment, changing my prayer and say I'm resigning to reshape my life. I chose to start my faith again as a new Christian, to start reading the Word every morning and asking God for His will in my life.
Yeah.
That was a
Wow.
defining moment. And I said I don't do branding anymore because I quit. I was like resigned that career. But I had people who knew me and said, "No, you're brilliant. I want your ideas. Like help me with my brand." I'm like, I don't do that. Yes, you do. You just don't charge
Yeah.
for it. Boo. Okay, so I help a few people, and what comes to me is helping an individual like you, if you're listening to this, reach into their heart and picture in your mind's eye those impacts you clearly see, you can make, or maybe you're already making them, and the people you clearly see you can help, you can impact. It might be an industry, it might be a type of person. You can define in language the brand you will become, the brand you must become to make that
Yeah.
those impacts, and you'll get there faster. So that moment when I realize what I'm doing with individuals is helping them language those things they already clearly see doing, they just aren't getting credit. How do you get credit for a person in a way that says it
Yeah.
in a way that no one else says it? Well, that's part of branding. And so if God put the desire for impacts in all of our hearts, but we got so busy doing our Wall Street job or being on the, running the baseball team or taking our kids to soccer practice or being a corporate executive or being a drudge employee working for the whatever, and we just work and work and work and we don't pay attention to those desires in our hearts, what are we doing? So these days, I'm telling you, it happens over and over and over. It's what I do all day long. I think I get to do it. I said I was addicted to my job and I resigned when I was 50. That was
Mm.
22 years ago. So, and I'm not stopping, okay? I'm getting younger. I got
Yeah.
coconut oil in this coffee here. Keep the synapses connected, because when we can help each other step into why we're really here, into our
Yeah.
purpose, into our calling, into feeling like our work is love. And this is what I hope for you if you're listening to this, that you race to where work is love. That is a very healthy place. And so the most recent defining moment, about 6 months ago, I decided to create a summit called the Rise into Purpose Summit. It is my event. I host it. The Rise into Purpose Summit. Tagline, living a truly fulfilling life. And the only speakers I have are living a truly fulfilling life, and they talk about what they're doing. They live a truly fulfilling life by helping others live more fulfilling lives. So they're a coach, they're an expert, they're a counselor, they're a therapist, they're a health person, all
Yeah,
kinds of things.
amazing, amazing. Thank you so much.
My life has been filled with those defining moments, and I'm not done, and you're not done either. Don't think like, well, this is about as far as I can go. No, there's always more. You were created with unlimited possibilities. There's always more because you were made by God. There's always more.
Yeah,
So don't stop. Keep moving, keep growing, and listen to your
yeah,
heart. How about
amazing.
that?
Thank you so much for sharing, Rich. So, Rich, is after decades of working with global brand, how did you guide someone just starting out to define their personal and business brand or identity?
Well, first of all, I get the question a lot, what's the difference? The process is the same.
Yeah,
It's like marketing. It's a process. It's steps. Branding is a process. It's steps. And most people will not say that to you
yeah,
because they don't know what the steps are. They think it's whatever they do. Oh, we got great ideas. We'll help you with your brand. That's not what it is. Branding is a series of steps. And it's like anything. If you build buildings and you leave out some steps, it's not going to turn out well. Well, when you build a brand, if you leave out some steps, it's not going to turn out well. So I was pretty well practiced after almost 20 years defining and speaking to big companies, and what that meant was maybe it's the CEO, but maybe it's the vice president of marketing, or in a big company, it might be marketing communications manager or something, about the steps of branding and what was missing and what could be done better in what their company was already doing. When it comes to individuals, again, the process is identical. It's just you don't have all the administrative overhead. You don't have to do deep research into the roots of the company when it was formed because it's an individual. The roots of the individual are in the heart. So you talk to somebody and I connect with hearts. I hear their visions of the impacts they want to make, where they can really see what they want to do. And we start there and we get so clear that we bake clarity into the way their brand, if they're an individual, shows up. The way they speak, the way they look, the way they carry themselves, the way others speak about them when they're introduced to speak, what is said. We call it first impression doorways or portals. A business card, the homepage on the website above the fold, the speech introduction, leave behinds, anything that creates a first impression. You don't get a second impression, so we work on unique language that transfers energy about them and what makes them outstanding. And it bakes clarity into the way they show up. So much clarity that people who hear what they say, people who hear them introduced, people who read or go through those doorways, they can feel the clarity. It's palpable because the language is consistent and it's unique and it transfers
yeah,
energy.
yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, Rich. I think this is really lovely being that. Yeah, it speaks volumes to how you get to show up and how they get to actually more like perceive you. Yeah, thank you. So how can entrepreneurs and professionals use branding to elevate their life and business to a higher level?
That's a great question. I cannot tell you how savvy a question that is. How can entrepreneurs and individuals use branding to enrich their lives? No pun
Yeah.
intended, but I like it. At a higher level. I'm going to repeat myself, but it's worth repeating. By starting with the impacts, envisioning the impacts they really want to make and can see in their mind's eye making through their work, through their business, through their gifts. If it's a calling, through their calling. Let's give you two really extreme examples. One of my first clients when I was working with individuals actually owned a company that makes uniforms. And he had an idea of adding light wires on a uniform for people who work in very, very dark places, a garbage dump, train stations. There's not a lot of light, and they get hurt. They get they get hit by a bulldozer. They get run over by a truck because people don't know they're there. He comes up with this idea to put light in the shape of a human body. Well, his clear vision was that he would save hundreds of thousands of lives. Think about a truck on the side of the road, or a car breaks down, and a tow truck comes. You know how many tow truck drivers get killed because cars hit them? It's like if they were wearing something that from 1,000 feet away, you would move your car. Oh, he envisioned saving lives. And it was very industrial. Uniforms. It's like, on the other hand, I have solopreneurs who literally I just got off to come here with a man who is a therapist, and he focuses on men who have experienced trauma, and that trauma, they can't get rid of it. It's a barrier to them moving forward, and he helps them work through it and release the trauma in some very, very professional and evidence-based ways. Those are two very different brands. One is product oriented, you can hold it in your hand, and the other is mental, it's dealing with people's mindsets and the way we hold ourselves back when we've been hurt or damaged psychologically. But the process of envisioning the impacts, writing them down in the order, what's the first impact? What's the next? What's the highest? Turns into unique language for that brand, and no one sounds like them.
What is a brand?
I'm so glad you asked me that. Okay, a brand, your brand, and let's get specific. If you're listening to this, your brand.
Yeah.
Now, it could be you personally, or it could be an entity or a company, you create. And if that's the case, then there's two brands. There's the entity, the company, and there's you as the founder. They're two different sets of identity elements, okay? But a brand is not what you think it is, and it's not what you say it is. It's not what you write down on paper. It's not the pictures. It's not the story. It's none of that. A brand is not what you say it is or think it is. It's the perception in the mind of that type of person or target. Could be a company, could be an industry, could be a type of person that you clearly see impacting and you really want to impact with your work, your gift, your skills. It's their perception is your brand. We're not talking about the perception in the mind of people 20,000 miles away who live in jungles or maybe like to pet giraffes. I love giraffes. Those kid around. But it's the perception in the mind of those types of people that you clearly see impacting. It's their perception that is your brand. When you realize that's what your brand is, you're going to treat it differently.
Okay.
So your job in branding is not to come up with a fancy whatever. It's to shape, to make sure the things you do, the language you use, the way you show up, the message hierarchy you use, shapes a consistent perception in the minds of your most important target audience.
Amazing. Yeah, I think this really speaks volumes, being that branding is more like the way you put yourself out there. There is consistency across your actions and the way you put yourself being resonating with how your audience gets to perceive you. Yeah, amazing.
The word you use, consistent, is probably the most important word. When you're consistent across the board, the way you look, the way you talk, the messages, the way people talk about you, when you're consistent across the board, you build trust. People know what to expect. And, people are like, if you hire someone and they say, you bet I can do the job, Arobandaya, I can do the job, and you hire them and they do a good job, and the next day they do it differently. And the next day they do it differently, a different way. And then it's different again. You have no idea what to expect, and you start to distrust them because they're not consistent. Brands are like that too. On the smallest, if you who are listening to this go to a networking meeting and somebody says, "What do you do?" and you say it one way, and then
Yeah.
somebody else comes up and says, "Hi, my name is Rich. What do you do?" and you say it a different way, the first person goes, "Wait a minute, I thought you did this, but you do this." People create confusion or misinformation. They don't
Yeah.
get credit for what makes them outstanding because they're inconsistent. Across the board is a mandatory for a brand to come alive. Arobanaya, most brands fall
Mm.
flat. Most people, if hey, what do you do? And somebody says, and they go, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's fall flat. Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice." Yeah. But if they go, "Whoa, wait, whoa, 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 whoa," and they turn their head like that and they go, "Wait, I gotta go, but can I have your card?" That's come alive. The difference is in how palpably they feel that clarity and the unique language that transfers energy. That
Yeah.
response is they got the energy. Man comes to me and says, "Hey, I lost my wife from a disease and I started changing my health and looking at the way I live, and I started getting healthier, and I wasn't doing what the doctors told me. I did what I read about, and then I started studying things like the brain, and I got certified in making my brain stronger, and I learned how to build more stem cells in my body because I'm over 40 and the body doesn't produce the stem cells. So I learned about nutraceuticals, and I did this and I did that, and I learned about mushrooms." And you're going like, "Well, what do you do?" And
Yeah.
he had no idea how to say it. Today, he is the founder of the legacy brand Mindful
Mm.
Longevity. Renew, rejuvenate, revitalize. Holistic health mentoring that empowers lives. I'm telling you, I got a chill down my spine when I said that, because there are millions of people out there who are aging. They're watching their parents become debilitated, and they're going like, "Is that going to happen to me?" And when they hear mindful longevity, renew, rejuvenate, revitalize,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, I got to pay attention." And then holistic mentoring that empowers life, they're like, "I'm in. I don't care what you're selling. Like, I want some of that juice." But it's language
Yeah.
that
Amazing.
transfers
Thank you
energy.
so much, Riches. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
So Riches, for my audience who would love to reach out to you, especially for consultation to get your materials and I'll ask actually more like connect with you. How can they reach out to you and where's the best platform?
Okay, so I have a website, and literally on the homepage, you can download some videos for free and you can get on my calendar
Yeah.
for free. If you want to talk to me, and you could be anywhere in the world, you go to richbrands.org. Don't go to richbrands.com, go
Yeah.
to richbrands.org, and it'll say, "Talk to Rich for 30 minutes, get on my calendar." If you're not ready to do that and you want to hear some what's different about branding done right, why you need to evolve your brand or you won't be let in and you can't make your higher level impacts, or what are the 4 things that you must have or you will fall flat, or 7 things you got to quit doing because it's hurting you, you come to my 60-minute master classes. Put these in your show notes. Brand First, FIRST, or
Yeah.
die, brandfirstorDie.com. 60 minutes free. It'll change how you think. The other one is called brandpowerhour.com. The 4 things you absolutely must do or you'll fall flat. Most brands fall flat. And 7 things you got to quit doing. I do those every month. They're free. Why do I do that? So that you as an individual can learn that there is someone out there with 50 years of experience who gets to do this work, believes it's God's work because
Yeah.
we're reaching into people's hearts and helping them step into their purpose. And I'm willing to just talk and teach and share with you straight talk that you can trust and deep experience that you can count on. I don't have time
Yeah.
for buzzwords and jargon. I don't even use the buzzwords of branding. I avoid them because they're designed to be entrancing and to send a message that you cannot do this yourself because you don't have the skills.
Yeah.
Stuff's
Amazing.
wrong.
Thank you so much.
Stuff's wrong. I'm writing a book called Impact Driven Branding: 7 Steps to Ensure Your Brand Impacts People's Lives and the World. You want that book. Chapter 1 walks you through step 1, and there's a little fill in the blanks outline you can have right next to do your work. It's like you will thank your lucky stars, praise God,
Yeah.
when
Thank
you get that book. But get Get in touch with me. Jump on one of those 60-minute master classes, or just come on my website
Yeah,
and let
thank you
me
so
be able
much,
to talk
Reggie.
to you.
And definitely, the link to reach out to you is going to be the show notes for my audience to reach out. Yeah, thank you so much, Kozak. You just remind us that branding isn't just about visibility; it's about impact, purpose, and the legacy we leave. By defining your brand with clarity, authenticity, and intention, you can actually transform your business, your influence, and your life. Yeah, it's really a pleasure and honor have you on the show, Rich.
You're a young man with a lot of wisdom to
Yeah,
say those
thank you
words.
so much.
Good for you. Good for you, Arobadaya. Good for you.